Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we're here today kicking off this glorious week with a bit of Titanfall 2 commentary. These commentaries always seem to get me energized for the week ahead. Mondays are usually kind of a rough start day for me. If I try and do anything really serious, it just ends up being a complete and utter failure. But if I dive into a live commentary, get my arse handed to me a few times by some of the more awake players, well, then I'm usually ready to rock and roll for the week ahead. So that's exactly what we're going to do. There was also some topics I brought to the table today. I did want to talk a little bit about my future with Titanfall 2. You know, recently I've been spending a lot of time doing live commentaries, which is great. That is definitely one portion of my future with this game. I want to work on my comedy a bit, you know. Comedy has always been something that is a little bit more difficult for me. It doesn't come naturally, I guess you could say, right? Like, commentary itself, I've worked a long, hard way to get to a point where my commentary is pretty natural. It's just something that I can do pretty well with because I've been doing it for like 4 years that way. But when it comes to comedy, not so much. It's just not something that is second nature to me. I've really never made any conscious effort to make it second nature, and that's the biggest thing. I just really need to iron it into my brain that I should work on commentaries. Tony, you got to work on getting your commentary skills down, man. So that's what I wanted to do moving forward with a lot of these live commentaries and other things moving forward, even if it's just for one small portion of the game to just, you know, reconsider how I look at comedy and how I inject it into my commentary, into my content. The other big thing, though, is re-evaluating the types of guides that I make for new players here on the channel. Not just for new players, but I think for the average Titanfall 2 player. And that's probably the biggest thing, right? Is a lot of us we're caught up in the vocal minority's viewpoint of what is the average player in Titanfall 2. A lot of you guys post in my, comment section, man, Tony, I'm really good, I've been doing this well. And there's a lot of you who would fully admit to struggling with certain aspects of the game. That's great too. I think the majority, the average Titanfall 2 user, is someone who faces a lot of challenges on a match-to-match basis. These challenges result in their performance not being as good as it could be. And I think it often comes down to the details. It's not usually something as straightforward as like, oh, a weapon guide or a Titan guide. You're brilliant. No, it's something usually far more complex, like not really knowing what they should be doing at the start of a match, or how to push on a certain map, or what boost works best with their playstyle, with their loadout. Maybe it's even something to do with teamwork with the Titans. What Titan actually works really well as a support Titan for this Titan and that Titan, and so on and so forth. So those more detailed discussions, those more detailed topics and elements of the game, those are the things I really want to dive into with my guides. I really want to help the 90% of the community, the vast majority of the community who are more average players, who struggle. One of the ways I've been doing that over the last couple weeks, actually, has been to jump into matches of Titanfall 2 and spend less time worrying about my own personal performance and more time actually looking at the way players move. One of the big things for me was, where do people go early game in a match of attrition? How do they treat a map like Exoplanet? What are some of the bad trends or bad habits that a lot of players seem to have that result in their performance at the end of the game, or even just early game, being rather poor? Now, how can we make a guide to build awareness for that sort of issue? How can we help these people step up their performance and at the end of the day just be better pilots because they're now more aware as to what they should be doing at the start of the match, or what they could be doing, to see more success, to see greater success. So those are the types of guides I really want to work on moving forward. I think at the end of the day, you guys as members of the community have done a lot to help my channel grow, to help me, really kind of evolve my dream of being a YouTuber, doing YouTube for a living. For a long time I was making content and not a lot of people were watching, and Titanfall 2 was sort of my thing. It became my thing. It became my saving grace, and it took 4 years of hard work, and it made it all way more than worthwhile. So giving back to the community, helping this game continue to grow, that's the only way I know how to do it, is to do it through those guides. We could sit here and we could talk about weapon balance and game balance all day long, and I still plan to do stuff like that. I still think it's important to discuss the state of the game and where does Titanfall sit, and what could Respawn potentially do to open it up to a larger audience. These are all important things. These are all important things, as I'm super congested today. But what do I have in my control? Guides, helping people get better at the game. That's what I can immediately affect. That's something I can immediately give value to, and give that value to the community. So that's my big thing moving forward with Titanfall 2. Obviously loadouts and all of those things, yeah, those are things I need to start to work on again. I want to get more loadouts out. But the last 2 weeks was sort of a self-discovery mission for me, you know? Where can I take this game? You know, what can I do content-wise? That was really important to me. And, you know, if there's anything, we could also probably teach Auto Titans a really big lesson about success, because they're not really good, you know? They don't really know what they're doing. They always look lost. I mean, look at this guy. He's clueless. He's clueless. Let's get in here and slice and dice. I'm actually really excited about the team play aspect. You know, I really am looking forward to the finer elements of Titanfall 2, especially talking early game strategy and attrition and bounty hunt. I think those are areas in which a lot of people really struggle, that honestly, with just a few words and a few examples, I could really change the way people play, I think. You know, for a lot of people, it's just shooters aren't their thing. Titanfall 2 might be their first shooter. A lot of people have told me that straight out, or they just don't get to put in the amount of playtime that a lot of other players do. So it doesn't come as easy for a lot of people, you know. But I think a big thing really is looking at the team play aspect of Titanfall 2, because as Rob and I talked about in our last episode of Pilot's Ponder, that's not something that really comes naturally in Titanfall 2. Naturally, Titanfall 2 is more of a lone wolf type experience, much like Call of Duty was for how many years and continues to be. So a lot of people play it that way, and that's fine, but I think we can give people advice and guidance on how to treat Titanfall 2 like more of a team play game, to look at it like a lot of the most popular hero shooters out there right now, and to say, hey, you know what, this Titan actually works really well if your team's running this Titan, and here's how you can, you know, be really supportive and get the most out of North Star if you play it alongside of this Titan. I like the idea of that stuff. That stuff excites me, and if the game isn't going to directly portray it, then why the hell shouldn't I? You know, that's my outlook on it. So we've been slicing and dicing Kung Fu style this entire match, guys. We're doing pretty well. Not the best match I've ever had. Admittedly, I don't know if live commentaries could ever be my best matches, but we're getting things done here. Live commentaries are an absolute mental cleanse for me. It's so weird, right? Because I think a lot of people, yeah, it's live commentary. What's the big deal, right? But when you do YouTube, when you do all the commentary stuff that I do, there's just something really raw about a live commentary where it's like one take, this is it, you know? It's like I'm about to go freestyle on the stage against Eminem or somebody. Oh, yeah. My wonderful references. You gotta love those. All right, where are we going? What's going on here? Look at this. We got guys all over this rooftop up here. Oh, that's a tick. Well, we were about to get like a nice double or triple kill over yonder, but hey, that didn't happen. See, this is the sort of thing I'm talking about. You know, why is Spartan and Titanblood, why are they down there 4 and 15? I mean, they're doing good to farm AI, right? That's always a nice thing to see in attrition. People who are playing to their personal strengths. You know, obviously they struggle in pilots versus pilots. Maybe they struggle in map positioning, but farming AI is kind of always a straightforward thing. Hey, there's the AI. I see him on my mini-map. Let's go hunt him down and kill him. Let's rock and roll. So that's something to consider. But I'd like to get more people boots off the ground. I'd like to get people just, you know, improving their awareness, and I really want to redo my slide hopping guide. I think at this point, I've found a way to really make slide hopping seem as accessible as it should be. You know, one of the big things obviously was Respawn saying, hey, you want to hold to crouch button on Xbox and PlayStation 4? Yeah, we'll give that to you. Let us hook you up, you know? Let's make the game a whole lot easier. Once people understand how that works, I think I can better explain slide hopping and get way more people involved in it. So that's exciting. Well, we just got wrecked by that guy. He didn't even melee us either. He just broke out the car and was like, hey, what's Kung Fu? I've got a gun fu, yo. All right, let's get Ronin in here again and get some harass going. Titan timing is a big one too, guys. That's like one of the top things on my list right now is Titan timing. It's something that a lot of people don't really pay attention to at all, and I can understand why. The game, you know, just not... You pretty much, you get your Titan, you drop your Titan, you call it a day, right? Because in theory right now, it didn't make too much sense to drop my Titan. You know, it's obviously nice to get your Titan on the ground to deal with the enemy Titan, but sometimes, you know, you're actually doing more harm than good because you're about to lose your Titan really quickly because of the number of players that you're dealing with. So that's just something to consistently consider. You know, sometimes it makes sense to hold off. Like, if I would have waited just a little bit longer and actually got my team... Oh, can we knock this guy off? If we would have just... What's this guy doing? If we would have just went ahead and waited and did some anti-Titan damage instead, we could have easily gotten our Titan in right when our team got our Titan in, but it worked out in the end this time around. As you can see, that they lost a lot of Titans. They were really spread out. But in a more team-oriented situation... you know, being really behind on Titans like that is a bad thing. What's this guy crouch walking for? Look at this nonsense. Let's go ahead and meet him in the sky, shall we? I think he's cloaked, actually, because I lost him. I lost him. He cloaked. He cloaked well. Countering individual tacticals. That's something a lot of people have mentioned to me. Man, that was a really unfortunate death. But hey, we did all right. 24-12. Definitely helped our team get up on top there. We had some pretty good support from our second player, and our guy at third, again, he carried his own with the minion stuff. Not as many points as if he would have got the kills, but he still helped. But countering individual tacticals is a big one, right? I think a lot of people really get caught up in the complaint phase about, say, like AWOL and phase shift. The complaint phase, yeah, and phase shift. Rather than realizing that these things can easily be countered with just a little bit of nuance, just a little bit of, hey, I probably shouldn't rush into that head-on, or, you know, really understanding how phase shift works and being able to read phase shift will really showcase just how counterable that tactical is, and people won't worry about it so much. I think all in all, there's a lot of ways we can step up the community, so that's my plan moving forward. Thank you guys for joining me this Monday, this wonderful, glorious Monday, this fantastic commentary. I'm looking forward to tonight, guys. I'm going to be staying up late for midnight release for Mass Effect Andromeda. Not going to be streaming it. I got to redo my stream schedule. A lot of things to reconsider over the next week, but we'll probably still get a stream in this week nonetheless. Keep an eye out for some more Titanfall 2 content. I hope you guys have a fantastic week ahead. I'm going to get back to working on that new closer, and I'll see you in the next one.